and inflation.
Part 3, State of Democracy.
And others filed 62 lawsuits contesting the results. Judges, including those appointed by President Trump and other Republican presidents, looked at the evidence and said there was no widespread fraud. The governors of every state in the nation,
Comment section's forecasting what I'm about to see.
Certified the 2020 election results and sent a legal slate of electors.
Everyone's calling Vance a live faucet.
Senator Vance, you have said you would not have certified the last presidential election and would have asked the states to submit alternative electors. That has been called unconstitutional and illegal. Would you again seek to challenge this year's election results, even if every governor certifies the results? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, Laura, first of all, I think that we're focused on the future. We need to figure out how to solve the inflation crisis caused by Kamala Harris's policies, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable.
JD Vance, that has nothing to do with the question.
Your question because you did ask it. What President Trump has said is that there were problems in 2020, and my own belief is that we should fight about those issues, debate those issues peacefully in the public square, and that's all I've said, and that's all that Donald Trump has said. Remember, he said that on January the 6th, the protesters ought to protest peacefully. And on January the 20th, what happened? Joe Biden became the president. Donald Trump left the White House. And now, of course, unfortunately, we have all of the negative policies that have come from the Harris-Biden administration. I believe that we actually do have a threat to democracy in this country, but unfortunately, it's not the threat to democracy that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz want to talk about. It is the threat of censorship. It's Americans casting aside lifelong friendships because of disagreements over politics.
Well, I can't disagree with that part, JD Vance. That is factually true.
Saying that rather than debate and persuade her fellow Americans, she'd like to censor people who engage in misinformation.
Casting aside friendships over politics is a sad shame in this country. I'm a guy who can't even find a match nowadays on Facebook dating because everyone wants to cast everybody aside over who's voting for who. So JD Vance did say one true statement there. I don't often listen to this guy, but
they don't agree with me and Donald Trump on every issue. We don't have to agree on every issue, but we're united behind a basic American First Amendment principle that we ought to debate our differences. We ought to argue about them. We ought to try to persuade our fellow Americans. Kamala Harris is engaged in censorship at an industrial scale. She did it during COVID. She's done it over a number of other issues, and that to me is a much bigger threat to democracy than what Donald Trump said when he said that protesters should peacefully protest on January the 6th.
Governor?
Well, I've enjoyed tonight's debate, and I think there was a lot of commonality here, and I'm sympathetic to misspeaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator. But
me too, man.
There's one though that this one is troubling to me, and I say that because I think we need to tell the story. Donald Trump refused to acknowledge this, and the fact is that I don't think we can be the frog in the pot and let the boiling water go up. He was very clear. I mean, he lost this election, and he said he did. 140 police officers were beaten at the Capitol that day. Some with the American flag. Several later died.
Tim, you better not say the word insurrection.
A group gathered on the state capitol grounds in St. Paul and said, we're marching to the governor's residence and there may be casualties.
Say goodbye to that commercial.
There was my son and his dog who was rushed out crying by state police. That issue and Mike Pence standing there as they were chanting, hang Mike Pence. Mike Pence made the right decision. So, Senator, it was adjudicated over and over and over. I worked with kids long enough to know, and I said as a football coach, sometimes you really want to win, but the democracy is bigger than winning an election. You shake hands, and then you try and do everything you can to help the other side win. That's what was at stake here. Now, the thing I'm most concerned about is...
Nice analogy.
The idea that imprisoning your political opponents, already laying the groundwork for people not accepting this. And a president's words matter.
Yeah, they do.
Words matter.
Yes, they do.
Hear that.
Thank you.
So
thank you, Tim Walz.
I think this issue of settling our differences at the ballot box, shaking hands when we lose.
Hey, Obama said it. Don't boo, vote. Don't boo, vote.
The first time in American history that a president or anyone...
Comment section saying the words insurrection. It was a bad riot. Very bad riot. January 6th was a horrible, deadly, dangerous, historical riot. Everyone's calling it insurrection. Insurrection would have been a successful overthrow of the entire government. So there's a bunch of crazy looters and shit. And yeah.
Senator Vance. Vance, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, well, look, Tim, first of all, it's really rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power on January the 20th, as we have done for 250 years in this country. We're going to shake hands after this debate and after this election. And of course, I hope that we win, and I think we're going to win. But if Tim Walz is the next vice president, he'll have my prayers, he'll have my best wishes, and he'll have my help whenever he wants it.
Well, isn't that nice? I like to see that. That's really nice.
Hillary Clinton in 2016 said that Donald Trump had the election stolen.
Comment section, stop stroking each other. I don't think they're stroking each other, but they're certainly giving each other a lot of cordial compliments for two opposing sides of the political force, which is nice and refreshing. At least they're not trying to literally attack.
I don't buy that.
Governor.
January 6th was
Clever deflections JD Vance has. Smooth talker.
I don't understand how we got to this point.
I need to go to bed.
That happened. Donald Trump, can you do it? And all of us say there's no place
true.
for this.
He didn't do it.
has massive repercussions. This idea that there's censorship to stop people from threatening to kill someone, threatening to do something, that's not censorship. Censorship is book banning. We've seen that brought up. I just think for everyone tonight, and I'm going to thank Senator Vance. I think this is the conversation they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of agreement. This is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there are problems. In
the first time they've actually attacked and stopped stroking.
I'm happy to talk about it further, but you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of the government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to respond to you.
Yeah, well, I don't run Facebook. What I do know is I see a candidate out there who refused, and now again.
First time they stopped stroking each other and actually
lost the election. This is not a debate.
Slammed it.
It's not anything anywhere other than in Donald Trump's world. Because look, when Mike Pence made that decision to certify that election, that's why Mike Pence isn't on this stage. What I'm concerned about is, where is the firewall with Donald Trump? Where is the firewall if he knows he could do anything, including taking an election, and his vice president's not going to stand to it? That's what we're asking you, America. Will you stand up? Will you keep your oath of office, even if the president doesn't? And I think Kamala Harris would agree. She wouldn't have picked me if she didn't.
Well said,
Because
Tim
of
Walz.
course that's what we would do. So, America, I think you've got a really clear choice on this election of who's going to honor that democracy and who's going to honor Donald Trump.
Governor, your time is up.
Well
Thank you,
done.
gentlemen.
Nice close.
We will be right back with both of our candidates. The CBS News vice presidential debate continues.
Well, I think that pretty much does it for me for tonight. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't want to hear more, but how long does this go for? Let me see, hold on. Is this like 3 hours or something? I mean, hold on a second. Now I'm live again.
Not today. You know when you're living your life and all of a sudden you're out there helping cops solve crimes?
How do you do that?
I have an IQ you have 160, so that might have something to do with it. You want me to go in and flip the table over?
No, I do not.
Ooh, I just went up to 46 subscribers. Yes! Let me check my my video views.
We're doing it.
Wow. Wow, I got a lot of views on the last 2 uploads. Nice, nice. I mean, yeah, man.
Enjoy the looking.
Got some attention. Not a lot of care or concern for some of the other smaller stories, but there's some big ones. I mean, I didn't even say much to that, but I was just sponsoring news, man. Free, it's public news. It's free media sources.
All new Wednesdays at 10 on FX. Stream on Hulu.
It's necessary to share your sadness.
6 people like this.
Keep asking me, are you 100% ready? But I'm not.
Nobody ever watched my videos about my points I made about how I totally, definitely, 100% stand on the whole thing of not siding to accuse.
Tim Walz and JD Vance. And first thing tomorrow on GMA. Real-time reaction from across
Well,
the country. In the
well, dang.
states and inside the campaigns. Will there be a clear winner? GMA tomorrow.
Well, I think Tim Walz swept the floor with this.
New Thursday on ABC.
Abbott Elementary returns October 9th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
I'd definitely say Tim Walz won this one for sure.
I never doubted us for a second.
Agatha all along has arrived and is wickedly fun.
A feral, hive-minded coven bent on revenge.
He's deliciously chaotic
Join me. She's a psycho. I knew you'd figure it out eventually.
and perfect for the Halloween season.
Agatha.
What did you do? Don't miss.
Okay, Agatha.
Now streaming only on Disney Plus.
Marvel. Ooh.
Hollywood Studio. Want us to make a movie of our podcast? It's a fabulous cast.
I'm nervous playing you. The fearlessness, the complexity. Oh, stop. Unless you had more to say.
I don't need an algorithm to tell me that this is box office gold.
Only Murders in the Building, streaming on Hulu, and for bundle subscribers on Disney Plus.
Lady Gaga, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and get Kimmel's take on the debate. New tonight on ABC.
Jimmy Kimmel's take. Ooh, I can do a live Jimmy Kimmel late night tonight
Welcome back
coverage.
to CS News Vice Presidential Debate.
I never
It is now
catch Jimmy
time
Kimmel.
For the closing statements.
Closing
Senator Vance
statements.
won the virtual coin toss and elected to go last. So Governor Walz, you are first. You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, Senator Vance. Thank you to CBS News. And most importantly, thank you to all of you. If you're still up and the folks who miss Dancing with Our Stars, I appreciate
I was
Look,
struggling
support of the
in
democracy
the
matters.
beginning, but
It matters that you're here.
I'm up.
And I'm as surprised as anybody of this coalition that Kamala Harris has built. From Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney to Taylor Swift. And a whole bunch of folks in between there. And they don't all agree on everything, but they are truly optimistic people. They believe in a positive future of this country and one where our politics can be better than it is. And I have to tell you, that better than it is the sense of optimism that there can be an opportunity economy that works for everyone, not just to get by, but to get ahead. And the idea that freedom really means something. Not the freedom of government to be in your bedroom or exam room, but the freedom for you to make choices about yourself. Now, look, we all know who Donald Trump is. He's told us, and as Maya Angelou said, believe him when he told you that. His first inaugural address talked about
yeah, he got Taylor
American
Swift in
carnage.
there.
And then he
Comment
spent
section, shout out.
4 years trying to maybe do that. Senator Vance tonight made it clear he will stand with Donald Trump's agenda. He will continue to push down that road. Excuse me. Kamala Harris
You're
gives us
excused,
a
my
different
man.
option. Now, I'll have to tell you, I'm going to be careful about the quotes, but there's one that Senator Vance said that does resonate with me. He said, Donald Trump makes the people I care about afraid. A lot of America feels that way. We don't need to be afraid. Franklin Roosevelt was right. All we have to fear is fear itself. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward. She's bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real solutions for the middle class, and she's centering you at the heart of that. All the while asking everyone, join this movement, make your voices heard. Let's look for a new day where everybody gets that opportunity and everybody gets a chance to thrive. I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th for Kamala Harris.
You got it. You got it.
Thank you. Senator Vance, your closing
And
statement.
I'm just going to listen to JD Vance.
Governor Walz, you folks at CBS, and of course the American people for tuning in this evening. And one of the issues we didn't talk about was energy. And I remember when I was being raised by my grandmother, when she didn't have enough money to turn on the heat some nights because Ohio gets pretty cold at night and because money was often very tight.
Yeah, Ohio does.
As a person who wants to be your next vice president,
I've visited
that we are a rich
in the winter.
and prosperous
It was
enough
cold.
country where every American, whether they're rich or poor, ought to be able to turn on their heat.
Some
in the middle
people are
of a
telling
cold
him to
winter
shut
night.
up.
That's gotten more
Trying to
difficult
pretend like he's
thanks to
poor.
Kamala Harris's energy policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford a nice meal.
He just
for your
complimented
family.
Harris's
That's gotten
policies.
harder because of Kamala Harris's policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford to buy a house. You ought to be able to live in safe neighborhoods. You ought to not have your communities flooded with fentanyl.
Oh,
And
because
that, too,
of
has gotten
Harris's-
harder with because of Kamala
Blaming
Harris's
Kamala Harris's
Now, I've been in
policies.
politics long
First, I thought he
enough
was
to
trying
know
to
what
smooth
Kamala
talk it with
Harris
his twisted
does.
words. He
She
almost
stands
tricked me.
before the American people and says that on day one, she's going to work on all these challenges I just listed. She's been the vice president for 3.5 years. Day one was 1,400 days ago, and her policies have made these problems worse. Now, I believe that we have the most beautiful country in the world. I meet people on the campaign trail who can't afford food, but have the grace and generosity to ask me how I'm doing and to tell me they're praying for my family. What that has taught me is that we have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, the most incredible people anywhere in the world. But they're not going to be able to achieve their full dreams with the broken leadership that we have in Washington. They're not going to be able to live their American dream if we do the same thing that we've been doing for the last 3.5 years. We need change. We need a new direction. We need a president who has already done this once
I know who
before
I'm
and
voting
did it
for,
well.
not because...
Please vote for Donald Trump. And whether you vote for me or vote for Tim Walz, I just want to say I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you. God bless you, and good night.
Senator Vance,
What a humble, nice ending.
and thank you both for participating.
He really
in the
smooth
only
stroked that ending
vice
there,
presidential
Tim.
debate of this election cycle.
JD
I'm
Vance.
Margaret
So,
Brennan.
that's it, guys.
Nora O'Donnell, and a reminder, there
It's my
are
full
just
review.
35 days
I'm gonna start uploading these. You guys are gonna start getting these videos. This is the end. CBS is saying, thank you, get out there, vote, and
There you have it.
thanking the
Back
both
to
of them.
ABC's
They shake hands.
presidential debate
That's
tonight.
the
There you see
twins
all shaking hands.
having a nice talk.
Beginning of this debate as well. 90 minutes between them talking about the Middle East, the situation, the tensions.
Moderators
that
coming
we've
out,
watched unfold. Israel
thanking
not
them.
bowing to
Look how nice they're being.
retaliate
How
against
cordial is
Iran's
that?
policy at
His
large.
wife comes up,
They
hugs
also talked
him.
about immigration,
His wife comes up, hugs
economy,
him. I
inflation
thought
in
that
this
was
country,
moderators. And then they shake
housing,
hands. And then
peaceful
wife
transfer
shake hands, and they shake hands again. They shaking hands. Look how nice that is.
Actually
Isn't that
happened
nice?
in this country. 90 minutes.
They gonna shake hands
between
before
these
they
two
leave?
gentlemen. Mary
No,
Grace,
just
what do you
goodbye?
get from the
Have a
Harris
nice one?
campaign tonight. Well, what did they make of his performance, Governor?
Especially at the beginning, there may be some truth to the concerns from the campaign.
Oh, no, shaking the moderators' hands.
Going on, it certainly seemed to take stride there. I think the campaign does feel though that
Yep,
once
and
he
they're
did
out of
get
there.
that
JD
stride,
Vance
there's
is
a
gone with his lady, and them two are staying behind us to
They feel that he did a
thank
good
them for the
job
debate.
hitting the issues,
How
articulating the
nice.
issues, and they feel
Well, that's it, guys. They're just gonna do their talking points on CBS or ABC, whatever the case is. So
that moment at the end,
we made it. We made it. Yay!
and his refusal to say,
Up next,
he won the election,
Jimmy
that was a
Kimmel.
strong moment.
Let's get these videos uploaded, guys.